Good morning. So good to be here with you. My name is Jess Jones. I am the Center Director with the Coffer Resource Center. We are based here in Chicago, and we serve SAG-AFTRA, equity, and union performers. And we are happy to have this space to sit down with you today. Before we get started, just want to invite you to stay tuned to these types of conversations. If you don't already follow us on social media or get our newsletter, those are great ways to stay tuned to what we are offering to the community and who is having conversations through this platform with us. You can follow us on social media at Coffer Center. That's both on Facebook and Instagram. Or you could go to our website, Coffer Center Chicago, and scroll right down to the bottom center, and there's a button right there for you to subscribe to our newsletter. So if you don't already get our communications delivered directly to you, we encourage you and invite you to do so, because we'd love to have you back for another conversation. Today, we are going to be having Dr. Greta Pope doing her second installment of SoundCheck with Dr. Greta Pope, and she'll be sitting down with guests Suzanne Petri and Bob Breuler. So we're really excited to have everyone here today. Before I go too far along, I want to invite Greta to the conversation and just get this conversation started. It's great to have this space with Dr. Greta Pope that we get to get together on a weekly basis. So Greta, it's good to see you again this week.
Thank you, Jess. It's good to see you. And I want to thank you so much for offering all of the wonderful virtual programs that you're offering at the Coffer Center. It's just, it's absolutely fantastic. And you're offering this wonderful platform for SoundCheck. And we hope that the viewers will enjoy the conversation that we have about all the things that are going on these days.
Well, and we thank you, Greta, for bringing the conversation to the community in this way. It's wonderful to have a space and wonderful to have a dedicated time to get together with creatives. And before I depart, and I'll join everyone at the end, I want to make sure for those that are viewing, if you do have questions that you haven't pre-submitted and you want to ask them, feel free to do so in the chat. We'll be keeping an eye both on our Facebook Live page as well as here on Zoom, where we are running live. So don't hesitate to bring those into the conversation. I'll come back at the end as well, and Greta will be talking with our friends during the conversation, and so may be bringing the questions in if and as you have them. And I will also say we are off next week with Greta so that everyone can enjoy their Thanksgiving, but we will be back in December. So we won't see you next week. So I hope you really enjoy this hour while we take a pause to be grateful, and then we'll be back with you in December. But yeah, without further ado, Greta, I want to hand this off to you.
Okay, thank you, Jess. Good morning and welcome to SoundCheck. I'm Dr. Greta Pope, and I'm so excited to have this opportunity to chat with creatives from a variety of disciplines about their professional journey. We are right now in the midst of a pandemic that has changed all of our lives and the ways in which we work. We will use this forum to share our thoughts, feelings, and best practices for surviving this challenging time. My guests today are husband and wife team, Bob Breuler and Suzanne Petrie. Bob is a veteran actor celebrating his 49th year as a member of Actors Equity. He has played more than 100 roles during his storied career. TV credits include Chicago Fire, NYPD Blue, and many, many others. Bob's Broadway credits include The Grapes of Wrath, Carousel, The Song of Jacob Zulu, and Death of a Salesman. He is a recipient of the William and Eva Fox Fellowship Grant. Suzanne Petrie is a Jeff-nominated actor, an award-winning cabaret artist, and a proud member of SAG-AFTRA, Actors Equity, and American Blues Theater. She has made many appearances in film and TV. Suzanne is a founding member of Chicago Cabaret Professionals, also a founding member of Perennial Theater Chicago and Susbo Entertainment, Inc. Both Bob and Suzanne are highly respected artists in the Chicago area and beyond, and I'm so delighted to have them with us this morning. Hey, you guys, how are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Yourself?
Good. I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks so much for joining me today.
You bet.
Absolutely.
I was saying before we kind of went on air that I love your wall behind you. That is just like, so it is so cool. A lovely backdrop.
I did it all myself.
Rustic look Bob's good at the
I
rustic
actually
look.
used to do that as a second job in New York City when I was a
Oh,
starving
that's
actor.
right.
Yeah,
Oh, no kidding.
yeah,
Wow, that's very cool.
stuff from the walls. Yeah,
Yeah, that's very cool.
Buddies?
no, but old dead rats and all sorts of.
Ooh.
Oh, gee.
Good morning, all those.
Good morning. So tell us, what is marriage like for two creatives living together? I know that each of you work out of town from time to time. You work different hours, different projects, different schedules. How have you managed through the years to manage your work and your travel schedules?
Well, through the years, it's been great because when one of us is out of town or whatever, certainly we're in contact all the time. But we both, when we're working, recently we're working together a lot, and certainly with the pandemic, that's kind of what it's all about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. All right. So, Bob, do you have a comment about that? How's that been for you?
Unfortunately, sometimes when I was doing carousel, Suzanne had some eye problems, and I had to leave the show to come home because she was
Yeah.
incapacitated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's times when you need to be home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
that was one of the few times that
I really
happened,
needed
but
him,
it
that's for
happens.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was there, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Wow.
And phone conversations, are fun for distances,
Yeah.
the old days when
In the old days.
used
Yeah, yeah. In the old days.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
well,
let's talk a little bit about time management. Working as a freelance entrepreneur is very difficult. Give us an idea of what an average day looked like for you before the pandemic began. And what did you do? How did you manage your time? Did you have a particular schedule that you did, and you did certain things at certain times of the day, or was it just kind of organic and you did stuff when it needed to be done? Bob, you want to start?
Yes, the last part. In between my naps, I there's a lot of projects in these pandemic days that I am catching up with. I'm going to publish
Yeah.
my poetry, and think
Yeah.
I record all of my poems and short stories and some plays, shorter plays, into my phone,
Oh, wow.
into the thing, and I'm going to put them all together. And so that's a project that I have that I do off and on.
Yeah.
I walk every morning, and sometimes every second time in the afternoon if it's warm. Those sorts of things. Because
Yeah.
I retired, so
Yeah. Yeah.
those are the things that you do most of
Yeah.
the
What
time.
about like phone calling or connecting with agents or that kind of thing? Did you have a schedule by which you would do those things?
I'm with Stewart Talent, and they call me. I had one audition in the pandemic era for what was that? Fargo? Yeah, no.
oh no, it was
Chicago
Chicago
Fire.
Fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
already did one there, but
Yeah.
yeah,
You have enough time
yeah.
period.
Uh,
Yeah.
Fortunately, I didn't hear from that, so I'm going to say it's.
Wait for the next one.
Yeah. Wait for the next one. That's right. That's right. Susie, what about you? How have you do so many different things. How do you manage?
Well, before pandemic, BP, I was running around all the time. I known as the driver.
Yeah.
So I drove people. I went to various places. I have this guy I take care of, Bill, and he's my patient. So I would go to his house, take him to the doctors. I would go to meetings at SAG-AFTRA,
Yeah.
meetings at my theater company, and then we would have meetings for our group, Perennial Theater Chicago. So all of that, we had our last meeting on March 15th, and it was a rehearsal right here. And then now everything is virtual, and I swear to God, it's busier than it was before
I
because
know.
you do have to do the time management thing, but I spend more time, luckily, not only, well, certainly emailing, and I must say I try to stay away from the social media, but I have to do it, of course, like for this,
Mhm.
so I get it all out there. But it's like, ugh, it just drives you crazy. But so I do a lot of emails. I haven't done really too many of my list.
Yeah.
Every when I have something. Back in the day, I was doing one a month at least to what the gigs were coming up. But then when everything was canceled, it's like, okay, what's the point? Just do it when it happens. And
Yeah.
I also, to me, it's like contacting your agent through the email, and my best friend. This is the best part of it. We were always so busy. She's a teacher and had so many obligations, and so did I. We very rarely talk, so now we talk once a week.
Oh, that's good.
And I talk to my family, and so that's phone calls. And I have, like I said, my clipboard. I have all my lists writing, and I volunteer at the Blind Service Association. And I used to audio describe for plays and films, and that's off the table right now. So
Yeah.
it's just different. It's just way different. But there's
Yes, it is different. And, you know, I will say for me, time management has really changed because the things that I would do before, I'm not doing now, but now there are new things.
right,
Just like the scheduling Zoom things, for example.
right,
You know, I will think, oh, I can schedule something at noon and then something at 1, and all of a sudden you're like crazed
all
and
day
Yeah.
long.
out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
So, you know, you kind of have to give yourself that moment to breathe, get
right.
something to eat, drink, go to the bathroom, just sit down and relax. So I find that it's very different for me now than it has been before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of scheduling of meetings and or doctor's appointments, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
So it's one of the things is turning our dining room into basically the studio.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're doing auditions, with got the green screen, the ring light.
Mhm.
I put the iPad on a tripod. I do my voice lesson on a tripod. I have my dance class on the computer. Just putting it all together and learning more how to do it. Enrique from SAG-AFTRA has been very helpful, and I need to call him up again and say, hey, I need some help.
That's wonderful. You know, as much as a horrible thing as this pandemic is, it has given all of us an opportunity to learn about things we probably would never have learned about had it not been for this. You know,
Right?
so it's
And
it's
also,
really great.
yeah, we did a radio show here with Steppenwolf. A lot of 40 members of Steppenwolf got together,
Wonderful.
and we did a, a radio show all across the country, all put
Yeah.
together.
And
Yeah, and
yeah,
it was an American clock, the
by
American
Arthur
clock by
Miller.
Arthur Miller.
Great.
For a week or so, we
Yeah.
were here recording my part of the show.
Yes.
It was,
Yes.
something that we never would have done before.
Right.
So I was the
That's
tech person, and they had Zoom for the director, Austin Pendleton, to tell everybody, to talk to everybody about what scene was coming up, and then they had all the great tech people from Steppenwolf at their studio there doing audio, and then they put it all together. So it was
amazing.
amazing.
Incredible show,
I
yeah.
wish that it was
Yes.
available
It was
again.
done for the subscribers as to replace live performances
Yes. That's
because
great.
of the season.
So where can we see that? Can we see it?
Not yet. You may be,
Oh, not yet. Okay.
It was
but
a special contract,
yeah.
of course. They had to figure out the contract too.
Yes. Yes. It's
Because,
amazing.
yeah. And then we do stuff with American Blues. One thing is called The Room, which is plays and musical things, projects, where people will present things on Zoom. And
Yes.
the next one coming up is called the Garage series, and so I hope to do that. And it's a music thing, so they have a live place to do it, or you can do it on Zoom. And I was going to do we were scheduled to do another show at the 1700 where we did Torch, Sass, and Swing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was, of course, postponed. Who knows when we'll
Yeah.
do it? But it would be great then to do it on this platform.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of that, Do you think that once we go back to kind of normal, as it were, life, that these theater companies will continue to do this kind of thing, or will they go back to just the in-person theater experience? What are your thoughts about that?
Definitely, I think it will continue. You have thoughts on that, Bob?
Yeah, I do. Just yesterday, there was an agreement between Actors Equity and our SAG-AFTRA union as to performances on Zoom and so forth. That was just yesterday. So
Wow.
the developments, more and more so, we have playwrights writing specifically for Zoom.
Wow.
That thing,
Right.
you know.
Oh,
We
yeah.
we work with a group called the
Writer's block.
Writers Block,
Mhm.
and we're associated them as an acting company, Perennial Theater, Chicago, and the Writers Block.
Lifetimes of experience to share.
That's our
Yeah.
Because
motif,
we're
yeah.
Wow. That's wonderful.
We work together on that. We read their plays, and we're presenting some of our plays, the actors.
yeah.
So it's a give and
Great.
take sort of thing.
Yeah, very different dynamic, but
Yeah.
wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah.
I want to do it live, but who knows when that'll happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
Right.
I think that the fact is that we're learning so much about this platform, how to do. I've been working on it so much, trying to, get more knowledge of it.
Right.
And but this way, you can do things all around the world.
That's right.
And the first concert I did was in May. It was called Torching Through Time Zones with Sammy Scott and Elena Welch, and we had people singing. Sammy played. We singing from Hawaii to Paris.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so this is the thing about
Yeah,
virtual performance.
that's right.
It has to get better, of course, with music especially.
Yeah, yeah, it's a totally new frontier. You know,
Yeah.
one of the things that has come up in my experience, speaking of music, is who pays the licensing for the songs? You know, these are all things that are, like if you were before in a theater or in a hotel or wherever, that place paid the licensing
Right,
for
right.
whatever cover songs you might sing. So now it's like, what's going on now?
Right. Well, I do know one thing about that. I have my class called Be Moved, my dance class, and my teacher, before when we were in the studio, they have a license for this particular songs that they've chosen for the dancing, and now we have to use things that are in the public domain. She has just decided to get an ASCAP license, a mechanical license.
Ah,
And so she said it's not that expensive and she can use all sorts of songs,
that's great.
even better for dancing.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's a
Yeah,
great idea. There are just so many things that we just, that are coming up as kind of issues or concerns that we really have to think through how to manage.
yes.
Our house has become a dance studio, a radio studio, a
Recording
TV
studio of, yeah.
Yeah, it can be everything, which is really, it's very cool.
And then as long as you you're in your loft.
Right, right. I love it. I love it. So you guys have had many projects going on clearly during this time. Many very cool things.
We
So,
also did another thing, excuse me,
sure.
with SAG-AFTRA Radio senior players.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
put together-
yes,
I know you know about this, but
yes, I do. I know about but I don't know exactly what's been going on during this time. So fill
yeah,
me in.
it's finished now. They're editing it, and
Enrique is.
yes, that's
Ah.
he knows quite a bit about it. Yeah. So yeah, it's Meet John
John
Doe,
Doe.
the classic movie from the 30s.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and Rob Alton and
Is the
Michaela
director.
Is the director,
And Michaela
and
is the
yeah,
producer.
yeah.
But
So where can we see that? It's being edited now?
it'll be coming. Believe me, we'll let you know. So,
Yes.
in the beginning of the pandemic, everything was canceled. We were, scheduled with the singers committee, scheduled to do the parade, and Bob was cast as Hercule Poirot in the next
Oh,
video.
Yeah.
production, and we were so excited. So hopefully we'll do that someday. But so as we've gone along, and a lot of people in the radio are in perennial too, but then getting the idea to do Meet John Doe and to record it as opposed to doing it live was really great. And then, of course, I'm the tech person, but I also got to be in it.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be in that, and we'll let everybody know when Meet John Doe.
Absolutely.
Well, it's live. It's like our live radio show. So, it's, and also, oh, speaking of which, my theater company, American Blues Theater, is doing the annual It's a Wonderful Life radio show. However, it is live. So they're doing it live Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Where?
Person, no, it's on Zoom.
Oh, okay, I see. They're doing it live on Zoom. Okay.
But not recorded like Meet John Doe. It recorded and edited, and all the sound effects and the music put in there. This one is all done live every night. And it's like crazy. I haven't even seen it yet. Every actor was given a backdrop of a red curtain and then like a Christmas decoration and a microphone, and then they read it like they do in the real thing. But so they're, that's another way of doing things.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. A lot of good things, a lot of creative things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Artists adapt.
Yes, and that's right. And and we as creatives, are so able to adapt,
Right.
able to think, okay,
Yes.
this is not working. Let's do something else. Yeah.
We're
So
not,
we're really
not
lucky.
adaptable. We have to. We always have to, right?
Always have to. That's right. So we're really lucky from that perspective, because a lot of people are just like deer in headlights. They're like, what do I do now?
Changing. I've got a big poster board up on my wall, and I just make notes, and then I do this, projects, call, contact, because I've got to get these things. I mean, there's just so many things to done. Editing. I'm working on editing some of these projects for Writer's Block as people want to put them on. And I set up a YouTube channel for Perennial. So we need product. We need to put things on there.
Yeah.
So I've set up a meeting for Perennial. That'll be on Monday. We'll discuss that. And then we have a singers committee meeting on the 30th.
Right. Yay.
Everybody so much. I'm like, we have to have another meeting.
Yeah, it's so good to see everyone. It's almost like it brings tears to your eyes when someone pops up on the screen. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
And last time, you and me and Roland were on for like the first 15 minutes. And we just talked and talked and talked.
It was so good to see you guys. It's lonely, even though you're, with your loved ones, but it's lonely because we miss each other.
I know, and we're collaborators. We love to be, going to the meetings, and Bob and I are so lucky because we have each other.
Right.
But we need to be with other people. I mean, God, it's theater and music and audiences, but your question was, do you think we'll do it again? When this is going to be another year, I swear to God, because once we get that vaccine, then everybody has to be vaccinated, and then it'll start, I believe, with one-person shows, two-person shows, and audiences, small audiences, everybody socially distanced, so we can do live performance. And certainly people have been doing it all summer. Lynn Jordan did her porch concerts.
Yeah, lots of people have done those porch concerts, which is great. It's great when the weather is such that you can do that.
Yeah.
Do we have a, we'll hang on till the end for the questions, if that's okay with everyone. I think it might be a little easier to control.
Well, and we can promote other people's stuff, because that's another thing that's really important now, is sharing what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And also projects that, like the Public Theater does some fabulous Zoom plays that are written for Zoom, and share that out there and say, listen, and radio. They've done great radio stuff. I'm like, let's share it with people.
Let's share
stuff.
Yeah.
Please.
Right. Yeah. So now I have a question. Do you, other people that whether they're actors or people in other fields, what are some of the cool things that they've been doing during this time?
Let's see now. Oh, we have a First of all, we have a Zoom cocktail party every Saturday evening.
Okay.
One of our friends is a lawyer, and he is his big case is the To Kill a Mockingbird case, where the people, the original play, Aaron Sorkin wants to stop people from performing it, so he's for the defense, and it's all online. So they have to do their depositions, and the cases are online, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow.
Talk about changing.
Yep.
The whole legal system has
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has changed. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. My son happens to be a lawyer. He's a relatively new lawyer. So he had some experience in the face-to-face world,
Right.
but he talks about this they do everything,
Yeah.
everything, everything, trials and everything,
Right.
which is just, it is amazing.
Right. It is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another friend of ours was cast in this musical, and it's been postponed and postponed, but they're working on it. She and her husband send stuff. That's Carmen Roman and Jim Lemming. And they get the tracks from Lindsay Jones, who's also a part. He's a sound designer and a composer. Gets the tracks, and then they send him up, and he works on those. And anyway, so they're preparing.
Yeah.
Mostly, we're preparing.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Get back. So we need a lot of information. We need to know what the new world will be like,
That's right.
and keep preparing. We can't
Yeah.
stop.
No, we can't stop. And we need to be thinking about, we don't know what the new world will be like, but we do need to think about what it might be like and try to be prepared for all of those possible eventualities.
Right.
I did a couple of them actually, national convention
Oh,
on Zoom.
yeah.
On Zoom. One of them I pre-recorded and sent it to them, and the other was just live on Zoom.
Yeah.
In real time. And, it was just so interesting. So I think that there will be a lot of changes for corporations, for organizations that have these big national meetings where people are flying into a particular place. It can be a real money savings, for the company or for individuals, for various kinds of conventions to not have to go anywhere.
Right. I know. It's like you can just meet. You're all there.
It's fabulous. It's fabulous. Yeah. So that's great. So do you know people in any other field?
Uh,
Other things. I was saying last week that I have a friend who's a singer, and she is decorating tennis shoes.
oh,
She's doing just, odd things. And then, someone was saying that they, had a friend that was driving a truck, an actor that was now driving a truck. So people are doing just all kinds of other things to survive, in addition to figuring out how their own field works in the virtual world.
right.
It's pretty cool. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. How do you think we as creatives can help each other?
Yeah. Well, when you were talking about that, I'm like, okay, so I know I'm doing so many things and I'm very busy, but I'm like, how do I what are the contacts that I need in order to get myself out to the people who are doing are hiring singers and stuff. So I think that's a really good way for us to. We have website and Facebook pages,
Mhm.
and I know Jess does that a lot. She posts a
Yeah.
lot of things, and we have our singers collective page.
Mhm.
So there's between social media and of course there's always the phone. So how do we help each other? We put each other's stuff out. We share
Right.
each other's stuff. We find out what everybody's doing. We say, okay, oh yeah, and then like I work for the blind service. I volunteer, and since we can't go down there, isn't that? Ugh, this is crazy. The office is in 2017 West or North Wabash, and they opened up finally in like July or August, July, and then somebody in the building tested positive, so they had to close down. And then people started gradually coming back,
Yeah.
and because people need to have their business done for them. And
Right.
anyway, so they had another person, test positive. So it's like I'm always on the phone with people.
Yeah.
And this is not a, this is, it's about helping people and being with people
Yes.
virtually. So we have a short story telling club.
Oh, good.
I have read stories for people
For the blind.
for the blind service.
That's
And
great.
last year we were doing stuff for the kids, and we couldn't do that this year. I know
Right.
we have some things going on, but there's also a storytelling club that I'm on, and I help one of the clients, and then I read over the phone. My one friend, I'm reading several books with her, and that is the
Nice.
best.
How nice.
Yeah.
So great.
That is lovely. Are a lot of people doing that? I mean, is this something that is so wonderful?
And I think, and my one friend, where our next short story reading venture will be on the 30th of December, right? Which is our anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary in advance.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
Write it down, Bob.
So, I know one of my friends is like, oh, I want to come on that. I want to come on that call. And I want to, listen. And actually, I've recorded some of them. So the next thing is to really record those short stories.
Absolutely.
Put 'em out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and we're also with the Writer's Block. Uh, we're doing a podcast, and I'm a co-host with
Cool.
Gerald Cole, and then the playwrights, and we have a small acting company. We've recorded those segments, so gradually we're getting that done,
That's good.
and then also we'll do a radio show, but there, the more we work with Writer's Block, the more we get ideas for stuff that we want.
Yeah. And these may have been things that you thought about for years, but who had time to do them?
Right.
We were running around like, crazy people. So
It's
this,
so true.
yes, so this pandemic has given us an opportunity to do some other things.
To slow down.
Yes.
Yes.
Slow down.
Use brainer.
That's right. And get in touch with maybe some skills or talents or interests that you've had that you have not had time to address.
I've been drawing, and soon I'll get my ukulele going.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Gosh.
So you're gonna have some music in the house, Bob. That'll be great.
The saxophone and the ukulele, I don't.
And the neighbors will love it. That's great. That's great. So what have you guys, have you had any issues emotionally? What have you done emotionally to sustain yourselves?
Certainly, it's you get like you don't know, you're crying, just crying, waking up crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm always, like I said, I'm trying to do more, or getting into a schedule of meditating and yoga breathing, and of course, okay, there are a lot of great meditations out there. So what I do is then I find them and I put them on my phone.
Mhm.
I walk, as Bob does.
Yeah.
You listen to people that are inspiring to you.
Yes.
You have to be able to figure out a way to slow and reading. So the books that I'm reading with Sally are Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Oh my God, what a great book. And The Magic Power of, I forgot the name of it, but it's Florence Scovel Shinn. And these books are, ways to get, to find a way, basically, to say, no, I'm not going to succumb to this sadness and worry and fear and anxiety. I'm going to say, universe, I want the right answer for all concerned.
Right. Right. That's good.
Yeah, it's really, you have to be powerful. You have to spread that power to everybody.
You're right. You're right. And we have to encourage each other. And
Right.
just such an odd time. Such an odd time. You know.
It's also time to go back to classics, I'm rereading Ulysses by James Joyce. I just read Beowulf twice.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Right.
James Sweeney's
Yeah.
adaptation of it.
Yeah,
Oh, it was a
that's
great.
wonderful. Yeah, it just gives you time to just reflect and, but you just want to keep that reflection positive. You want to
Right.
keep moving forward and, keep everything upbeat as much as we can during this time.
Yes.
Yeah. So now, I don't know. I see. Well, for one thing, I do know that Jess put in the chat that her anniversary is the same day as yours.
Oh my God.
Who's
Jess, can you come back and join us?
Yeah. So how many years is it, Bob? 85.
85?
85 years.
5. Well, you got me beat. You got me beat by a couple of years, just a few. We were December 30th, 2007 was when we got married.
Oh,
We chose it that year. We chose it for a number of reasons. We wanted to have something during the holiday season when people didn't have work. The 30th was a Sunday, and then the Monday was going to be off for New Year's. But the banquet hall gave us a discount because it was a Sunday wedding, even though Monday was still going to be a long weekend. We're like, this is a win. So we had all of our out of towners come in, and then we had New Year's Eve with them after our wedding. So we got to have like a separate time with our out of town friends in addition to our wedding.
really neat.
We have quite
Yeah.
a story. So,
Yeah, so the December 30th and that whole week feels a little bit like wedding-y to me in like retrospect now,
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
We told our family on Christmas, hey, Mom and Dad, and they were divorced, and we were together with the whole family and my mom's new husband and anyway, we're gonna get married next Monday or Tuesday, we said.
And all the jaws dropped in the room.
I can imagine. Oh,
So we chose Monday because it was a day off,
okay.
right?
Yeah. And for tax reasons.
Taxes, we wanted to do it before the end of the year.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
So we went to the courthouse, and the judge didn't show up. But luckily, my dad being a lawyer, there was another guy there, a
Walking
judge.
in the hallways.
We knew.
On
we
the
knew.
elevator.
Yeah. The judge that married us is Judge Neil Riley. He's a real jokester. My mom and my sister knew him, and my dad knew him. And he's like, okay, sure, I'll marry you. Bob's son Cody, I'm his other mother, was our best man. And anyway, so we went to the courthouse. We went to the judge's chambers, and he said, do you take this man to be your lawful husband for better or for worse until someone else comes along? Oh, okay.
Great.
And then we went out for lunch, and 6 months later we had a party. It was also on a Monday.
Nice.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a very nice story. It's very nice.
It's funny because we had that moment where we talked about eloping because you go to get your license within 30 days of when you plan on wedding. So we went to get our license down at City Hall, just the transaction, like administrative day, not the actual ceremony day, just like obtain your license. And the Chris Kindle market was going on in Daly Plaza. And, so we'd like gone through Chris Kindle and had like cozy feelings and saw the tree at Macy's and got our license. And I had this moment where I was looking at like the chambers down the hall and like where people were, they get their license, then they walk down the hall and they get married. And I looked at my husband at the moment and we could go to Chris Kindle. We could get some rings right now. Like this could be our wedding day. Nobody needs to know. Like we could still have the big day, but we could get married right now. Like, and it was almost like a dare and a threat. Like, if I stay here too long, I might just get married to you today because this is all like the plan. We had been planning for a year. So at a certain point, like I was getting the snap, but I was just like, let's just get married.
Yes.
So
yeah. Your wedding, you could.
That's what we did. Right.
Yeah.
Have a friend be the parson or the preacher.
But I wanted to say, on our 25th anniversary, we went to New England and New York for our family there. And we stayed in New York. It was a huge snowstorm. Oh my God. But we went from hotel to hotel. It was so fun. And then we went up to New Haven, Connecticut and had a big dinner, seafood dinner with the whole family. And
nice.
Oh my God. And our grandson was, let's see now, he was just a little kid. Now he's in college.
Oh, that's so wonderful. So how many years is this for you guys?
That would be 35.
35.
Very cool.
Okay, you win.
Yes.
That's
We got married, when we had the party 6 months later in my mom's husband's party room at his complex, uh, my sister sang, "If Mama was married." No, we sang that for my mother. Um, but they called me Sue. I'll never get married, Petrie. And then along came Bob.
Oh, how sweet. How sweet. Well, you guys are a great couple, and a legendary couple in Chicago.
Legendary. I love that.
Really, it's true. It's true. So I have another question for you.
Oh,
How do you take care of your voices and your bodies? And, when it gets cold out or when it's, you're not feeling well and you have a performance anyway, what is your kind of motto or whatever for that?
Well, right now is the time to put your humidifiers on. So I cleaned them all out earlier with the white vinegar and everything like that. And now that it's dry and everything is dry, uh, and if you work with your voice, if it's important to you, you must humidify your voice. You must drink water, 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 constantly, constantly. And I must plug in my computer. Why isn't it plugged in? Oh my God. Okay. And yeah, and exercise.
And exercise. That's right. That's right. Keep your body moving. It's, we're kind of athletes in a weird sort of way. You've got to take care of your body.
That's
and
right.
Sue has a voice teacher, of course.
Yeah. Exercise your voice.
Yes, that
Your
is very important.
Your vocal cords are muscles, after all.
Yes, they are. Yeah, it's very important. I do a lot of vocal warm up, and then I also teach voice lessons, so I'm singing along with my students, and so that helps as well. But you've got to keep it going.
You've got to, whatever it is, whether you're singing along with your favorite music or you're doing your you're vocalizing. You've got to do it. And even though you're not singing right now or doing a gig or whatever, you have to be prepared.
Be prepared. That's right. Because once the vaccine comes, it could be all of a sudden, boom, and here we are back out there, and you
Right.
want to be ready.
You can't, because if you let it go, it just gets weak and wobbly.
That's
And
right.
You have to work it.
I had a good friend
Oh,
at
yeah.
Steppenwolf who passed away recently, and we were doing a show in London, and what was the name of the show?
A man who came to dinner.
John Mahoney, and he was on the National Theater stage, warming up his voice for like 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
He not only was raspy, but he wanted to be raspier.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just kept, oh my
It worked
God,
for
it
him.
sounded awful.
But it worked for him.
Yeah.
So warm up.
Yeah, it is a warm up. Wow.
One of the best things, especially when you have all this tension and anxiety, is to do yoga breathing exercises, which is the Kapalabhati and the alternate.
Yeah.
And just yoga in general is breathing. It's all about breathing because you have to, support your voice.
Yes.
And if you feel, a little bit of, I like to have the tea with honey as a humectant, and so that's really. And I love apple cider vinegar.
Oh yeah,
which
that's
will
very good.
balance for your.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very good. You just put a little bit like in a glass of water. Is that how you?
I put it in my tea.
In your
Love it.
Oh, that's a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can just put it. Some people drink it by the shot.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I put it in water, in a glass of water, but you really taste it. Tea would be great because that would kind of modify the taste a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to ask you, Greta, do you have similar routines or habits, especially with the weather changing and what the temperature and the lack of humidity do? I was curious to know if you have special regimen.
I do. I have a humidifier that humidifiers throughout my house. I keep the air moist. I drink lots of water, and I exercise and just do all of the kind of ordinary things. And then I sing. I sing a lot. I warm up every day. And then, as I was saying, I sing with my voice students and I demonstrate for them. And that's really very helpful. The other day, one of my students was singing a piece that has a high C. And I warm up, but I don't always warm up that high. And so it was really great to be demonstrating for her
Yeah.
because I was able to actually use that part of my voice. And I thought, I'm going to warm up that high on a daily basis because it does help.
That's great. And doing it every
That's
day.
a really good point though, too. Like that always doing what needs to be the work instead of waiting for the work to be the work.
That's
That
right.
is the exercise. I think that's a really important point.
You're right. You're right, Jess. That is the exercise.
Right.
Right. Keeping in shape because I really do feel that when things open up, I don't think it's going to be such an easing back into it. I think that people are going to be so excited once we are confident
Right.
that the vaccines are working and all of that. People are going to be so excited. Venues are going to be so ready to open up and to make some money. And I think there are going to be opportunities all
Right.
of a sudden. I really do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But to be in a room, and however, in Europe, they've done many theatrical performances with audiences, and they have the way to do it. And you know what they did at the National Theater? They changed the big theater, which was the one that Bob did The Grapes of Wrath in, and they put it in the round so that, they can socially distance
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people are in
There
the
are
center.
single seats,
Yeah,
Okay.
groups of
for
seats,
families of people
two
in a bubble.
seats, but all in a circle.
All in a circle. That's great.
The new Steppenwolf
Yeah.
Theater is going to be
Wow.
in the round.
That's
Caused
great.
by a new theater.
It's
So,
being built as we speak.
yeah.
Wow. That's great. That's
We
great.
built the theater and nobody came for a while.
For a while.
It's a
Yeah.
sad story. But they'll
Yeah.
be soon.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that the fact that we've had one pandemic now,
Yeah.
they're feeling like there could be other pandemics
Oh, yeah.
and certain kinds of businesses are preparing or building for that kind of situation so that if another pandemic does occur, then we will still be able to carry on in some form or fashion.
Yes, we did have viruses in during the Obama administration and the Bush administration that were prepared for.
Yeah.
And people died, but not
Not like this.
like
Yeah.
this. And I read something recently about the look at the whole world, and the continent that has the least amount of viral infection is Africa, because they're used to it. They are used to wearing masks. They've had many viral infections there and pandemics.
Yeah.
Now, obviously global, but there's only one country, and it's run by a strong man that doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But all the other countries in Africa are,
Yeah.
haven't had the rate of infection that, well, certainly not this country. But,
Yes. Well, I was aware of that, but I didn't realize that it was because they are accustomed to it and we're taking all the precautions. I didn't know that was why.
Ebola.
right? They have done it before.
Wow.
Know how to do it, and they're not afraid to do it.
Not a-
They wear masks and just,
Right.
what needs to be
Wow.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really something. So, should we get another pandemic, we will be more ready
Yes.
to, and have a better understanding of what needs to happen and what can happen.
Right.
I think initially people thought, oh, this won't be bad. There's been SARS, there's been Ebola, and they never made it to our shores. But, we are not.
One virus, and we had what else? Well, certainly measles is one of the most infectious, and it's been mostly eradicated until
Yeah.
the anti-vaxxers started.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Jess, are there any other questions for us? Did anyone?
I will open this up both to Facebook and to Zoom right now. If anybody does have any questions that they want to contribute, I personally, going back a couple of weeks, do want to ask a question just as a person that is isolating, social distancing with my family. I've joked before that my husband and I are kind of parasympathetic to each other because he's an advertising copywriter and I'm in our business. And so we have proximity consciousness of what the other one's doing without actually being in each other's business. You guys are, a creative couple that is in each other's business. So I want to ask you both, where do you guys, or do you guys draw the distinction between, Bob and Susie as a couple, and Bob and Susie as performance entities, and where does the line get drawn between like the private couple side versus the creative collaborator side, and or like, where do you guys permit feedback, or where do you don't want the feedback from your creative partner, in regards to your process? So like, can you guys call, I mean, and you're isolated together too, on top of all of that. So work is life and life is work. And so what is that for the two of you?
Well, it's a tricky game. It's you the way you. So I sometimes direct Suzanne when she's doing a Zoom audition, and you just have to treat each other as, and she does me sometimes.
Yeah.
But because you have an object you're looking at on the screen, I never criticize what I see live. I go and look at the screen and criticize
Right.
what's on the screen, you see. And I say, well, if you were a little more subtle in that moment, it might come across better or something.
Yeah.
Because actors can talk to other actors better. It's a thing we do at Steppenwolf from the beginning when I first joined the company. People would say, well, that stinks, or that's awful. There was a sense of honesty about it because the ensemble that is at Steppenwolf is a very close-knit group of people, been together for years. So it's like more like a family, and so you can be honest with the group, because you don't live together all day long,
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
there for a creative reason, and you're more open to legitimate and honest criticism.
Yeah.
It's important because you're dealing with an object of art. The actor's creating an object, although it's a living object. So it's like a sculpture. A teacher of sculpture would look at a glass like this and say, well, I think the bumps here, they're sticking out too far. Yeah, but I worked on that glass for 20 years. Well, they're sticking out too far.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
fix it. Make
Yeah.
it
But that's part of the question, I think, Bob, is
make something that people can hold on to and not fall.
yeah. I
Making
think part of the question I have, though, exactly that is like Steppenwolf and a close ensemble that knows that what brings us together is our desire to create, creative excellence. Do you ever find that the honesty has barbs when it's also parallel track with a marriage? Like, is it ever harder to separate the feedback loop from the, space of the relationship?
uh, well, let me speak to what's happening now at Steppenwolf in this. So groups like Suzanne's American Blues, they're going through periods of readjustment. They're readjusting to the things that are going on in the world because we're shut down and can't, be in front of live audiences. We're going through our existence, and we have meetings now that more people have showed up from the ensemble than ever because we're discussing how to proceed. And the family is getting back together again in a sense. Laurie Metcalf came back, Joan Allen, lots of folks came back. So the family is being somebody's at our door,
I get it.
is coming back together, and honesty is rampant. And bad things emerge, and they have to be dealt with,
Yeah.
so that we can move on to the next step.
Yeah. And
I think with a lot of groups, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think as a professional performer, actor, singer, whatever, you develop a kind of a thick skin to some degree. And I understand what you're saying, Jess, that in your household, having someone be critical, but at the end of the day, you want to be the very best that you can be. And if you feel that someone is giving you the direction or making a comment to make you be the best that you can be, then I think that would certainly make the situation better or tolerable.
Greta, isn't it trust?
Yes, it is trust.
The
Oh,
most
trust.
important
You're
thing.
absolutely right, Bob. That's it.
Yourself and trusting your partner.
In other words, if I send this out, my partner will receive it. And, you know, I'm
Yes,
going to be honest. I'm not going to be cruel or mean
that's
about
right.
it. Would it be
That's right. Because you have your partner's best interest at heart.
Right.
and vice versa?
Yeah, that's right.
So we've obviously been at this a long time, and now we're doing so much together, and especially with our theater company, perennialtheaterchicago.com.
Plug,
Why
plug.
not? Why not?
Plug it.
A new website, but we haven't. We have lots of work to do on it still, but it's we have a new webmaster. But anyway, um, the project that we're working on, one of them is Bread and Salt, and that's the one that we read live on Zoom and with an invited audience. And Bob's the director. And so that's where we're really, you know, he will direct me, he will direct other people in the play. And yeah, you have to, know that this is a brilliant man who
Yeah.
is giving me good advice. Where do we go?
That's great. That's great.
No?
Jeff, are there any other questions that people have asked?
I don't see any more questions. I think we may have George Menisco chiming in saying hello over on Facebook. So hi, George, if you're still
Hi,
with us.
George.
But no, I think that does it. It's been so lovely to
This
sit down
has
and
been
listen.
lovely. Thank you so much, you guys. It's been
Great.
wonderful. And I also want to remind everyone, Jess mentioned at the beginning, that we will not have a sound check next week, next Friday. We're going to enjoy our Thanksgivings. And then we will be back on December 4th. And Richard Shavson and Judy Blue will be our guests.
Wow.
So that's going to be kind of fun.
You know, I'll probably be asking them the same kind of questions about creative work-life spaces. So
Yeah, but it's, it's important. These are important questions, and for young couples or new couples coming along, just to give them kind of an idea of how their lives can work together, because it's, I'm sure there's a huge period of adjustment, as there is in any relationship, no matter who the people are. So,
And I will say that starting out, we worked together right off the bat for the Great Lakes Shakespeare Festival,
Yeah.
which was really cool. But one of the things that happens in a theater show business relationship is one person is up and another person is down.
that's right.
We support each other
That's right.
because you have it's like it happens.
That's
You can't
right.
always be up all the time, and jam packed full of jobs. Yeah. And then now, of course, with me, I have put Bob in my cabaret shows.
Oh,
Okay.
Now a cabaret artist, yes.
wonderful. It's
Well,
wonderful.
I think what's lovely about the up and down thing is those that can, when you're in that, relationship ensemble, those are corporate wins. So it's not,
Yeah.
that is our win because it's a shared victory. It's a shared,
That's
celebration.
That's right.
So
Right.
yeah. So I'm so happy to see you guys, and I'm so happy that you guys are well and creative out there.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for doing this. What a pleasure it's been to hear from you guys and get a little glimpse into your lives together and your lives separately. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jess. And thank you, Henrique. You always do a wonderful, wonderful job. Wishing you guys a very happy Thanksgiving. Jess, did you want to say
something? Thank you, Greta. Thank you for having the conversation and bringing this conversation together today. Marcia says, great interview, and I agree. It's wonderful to listen to you all speak on this and many other topics. And I want to thank you for being with us today, viewing audience. I'm wishing everyone a safe and happy and healthy Thanksgiving. We are thankful for you. We are thankful for these spaces to get together and thankful that you are part of our community. And Greta, I'm thankful for you. Thank you for leading us in this conversation today.
I'm thankful for you too, Jess. Thank you so much.
Great
Thank
idea.
you, guys. Happy
Everyone be well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.